I'm gonna go ahead and load that one up. As
I wonder who they're gonna pick.
no surprise, I went non-playing in order to make this happen, and I'm really excited about it. Made a trade with Dan to get Crippist on the roster, and I go non-playing so I could fit this man, one of my best friends, three-time second place player, uh, Valence. Super excited to bring him back as he did go FA, and I traded up to get him. I made some absolute money moves. So Pineapple's taking Valence first overall as I don't know. Is that his second time being selected first overall? I don't know. I have no clue. But a solid pick nonetheless, as a rival is on the clock, and Jaegers, merely this is your org. I think I
Wait,
could I could name I think I can name your three players, but
how did we get 3 picks in a rocker, man? You son of a gun.
yeah, and
I
I
had to
think
do it to him. I had to do it to him real quick. Get 2, 3, 4.
It's
if I had to guess, my guess would be Foam, Edwin, and Chipmunk, possibly in that order, but not sure. So
I
we'll
don't
be
think
we'll
Foam
be
would ever
shortly.
come to Evolution. He might leave the league before he lets that happen. But
No,
continue.
uh, I mean, so I was telling Austin to for our draft, I think we should go in MMR order. But I mean, we can just wait till it shows up on the screen for you. But I mean, we've been knowing who we're going to pick. Well, I've been knowing since today. So that's really cool. Like I texted Austin at like 2 a.m. asking him how he got all three of those picks. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for this rival team.
Yeah, I mean, Foam, former Titan player, Edwin, former Titan player, Chipmunk, a champion, back with Bubs and Casper. So three solid players. And thank God they got that Austin guy off their team. Definitely going to be a huge improvement as the Edwin selection does come through for a rival. No surprises there. And I think those guys might be friends. They might play together quite a bit. So the chemistry gonna be there. And Chipmunk rounding out the third spot would be just kind of crazy to deal with, as I know he's a speedy player in and of himself.
And I guess this is the time where I admit where I was wrong, you know? Coming through with the picks, and I guess you're a prophet squirrel. You definitely had more insight than I did in my own org. But that could be a scary roster, and I think not only because they're individually good players, but these guys have all been around for a while. They know each other very well, and especially with Foam coming down from the Titan League, he doesn't play the game as much as he used to. That's for sure. And I don't think any of these guys really do, but if they are grinding and they're working together as a team, I think they can make a big impact.
Yeah, and I think with Fulham dropping down to rival league, I think he's going to be more motivated to make that grind. I know he wasn't very happy over there in the rival league or in Titan League, so Fulham trying to make a splash here in rival. Uh, hopefully, you know, if you're Fulham, he's hoping to tell Pineapples to go to bed quite a lot. So we'll see if that can happen, as that roster's looking solid. And congratulations, Evolution Org, for putting together such a stud roster with picks 2, 3, and 4. So do y'all know who you're going to round out that roster with?
I mean, if Austin figured it out, he hasn't told me. I just knew the starting plan, but I don't know how we're gonna finish it.
Mhm. And the fact that you still have 1660 cap room remaining is insane, and it just goes to show you how just close everyone in this rival league has been as the boundaries shifted so much. Like you got to be 1585 to 1719. Um, so everyone super close in MMR could really pick up most players on the drafting board with that remaining. And no matter who you pick up, though, there's still going to be a lot of great players left. And I think rival league is probably going to be the most competitive that it has ever been.
No,
Definitely
I mean,
have to agree. Even with last season, I think Rival was one of the most competitive seasons that we've had. But disregarding that, I mean, it was insanely close, but this time, even with the boundary shifting, a lot of people who might have been misplaced in their leagues before seem to have found their footing, especially with a lot of these players like Foam, Edwin, we've already talked about. And just looking at the board, you can see Rival League is actually, I want to say, our second biggest league, which in the past we've had problems filling up the draft for Rival because there weren't as many players, but this season we have an abundance. And I'm very curious to see how this plays out as I see so many new names and so many new possibilities.
Yeah, uh, I agree. Like, there's so many people that I don't even know of on this draftee board. So hopefully, some GMs did better due diligence than I did and held tryouts because Chimera's take Trash, and I have no clue who Trash is, but hopefully he does not live up to his namesake because Chimera's taking him as the second man on their roster with USAF Messi, solid there. And now, Matt, I know it's not your pick yet, but you have Paper on your roster. Do you kind of have your game plan set up for Rival, or are you listening to like Paper or an AGM on who to draft?
No, I actually don't have anybody to talk to right now. Paper, I messaged him earlier, but I guess he hasn't been online. So right now I'm just kind of winging it. I have a general idea of what I want to do for Rival here, but me not having a second round pick because someone might have messed up a trade with a Squirrel earlier. But yeah, me not having that second round pick, I may not be able to get this plan to work.
It's going to be tough. A lot of players are going to get taken because there's a lot of empty spots here in Rival League. As Gravelords take the Season 4 champion Casper, as I mentioned earlier, Bubs and Chipmunk winning Rival League once before. Gravelords heading over there. A solid pickup. Always feels good to pick up a former champion and Bearcats sniping me take Kaysen, uh,
Oh,
as that is a very solid pickup. Um, Vulcan, Bearcats, Pharaoh, Quick Snail, Smooth, and Kaysen gonna be looking good. Gonna be a fast team. Gonna be a tough team, as North definitely knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. Kaysen's a defensive menace. And I believe last season he was playing up in rival games whenever he was in Challenger. And so that just says a lot about the man's skill set. Uh, that's a very scary roster. Pharaoh, a cracked player. I don't know too much about Quick Snail. And Smooth, the mastermind behind the rival team.
And hopefully Smooth's internet is better because I know in the past it hasn't been. So if it is, that's going to be a great team. And then Lightspeed picking up Kinetic. Lights Lightspeed with Green Glow and Kinetic. I think Green Glow might be suspended for a little bit, um, which is also another unfortunate situation. But Kinetic being EU might make Lightspeed very hard to schedule with here in the opening part of the season.
yeah. Also, another factor is that Kinetic has subbing in his name. So I'm not sure if that's a meme. I'm not sure if that's what he actually wants to do. For a lot of the EU players, like you said, it's always difficult to schedule. So a lot of the times they do end up not being able to play every single time when they usually might be able to. But if he does want to be a sub, he's gonna have to reconsider that with Green Glow being suspended and also being the first round pick here for Lightspeed. So we can see their second pick coming in now at Kaiser. But definitely some things to figure out for the roster there.
And I'll be honest with you, I have no clue who Kaiser is, but hopefully he's cracked because this team's gonna have to carry a little bit while Green Glow is suspended. Um, and hopefully he's available and has a wide availability because it might be a little difficult to schedule around Kinetic. And you know, not gonna harp on the picks too much, but if it's me and I have a suspended player, I'm picking 3 players to have as much availability as possible.
Absolutely. And you could always pick players up from your lower leagues, but at the same time, if you're playing in rival league, you want players from rival league. And so hopefully hopefully they'll be able to field a roster while Green Glow is out.
Yeah, that statement's almost true. If I'm playing in rival league, I think I want players in Titan league. Um, but I
Valid.
see what you're saying there. It's always hard playing with a sub up, as Thunderbirds take Brian, part of the Cinco fan club. Um, I don't really know what that's about. I know Mitch was talking about the Cinco fan club earlier, so hopefully we don't get another kitten cult happening.
What was wrong with Kitten Colt?
I think I'm in. I think I'm in the Cinco cult if I'm not mistaken now.
You joined
I'm
a
in the
cult?
Discord. Yeah, it's
Nice.
pretty fun actually. You should try it sometime.
I have.
But that being said, Brian, if the voice in my ear is correct and that is actually cardboard box, that's a great pickup for the Phoenix.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, I had no clue that was cardboard box, and if I did, probably would have been on my draft board, which is why sometimes it's important to keep your name what people recognize you as, because I had no clue. And Blaze taking Lil Robetu, another player that I don't know of. So hopefully these low key kind of under the radar picks end up working out, because I know a lot of GMs are just kind of sticking with the whole players that they know of. So hopefully these people like Lil Robetu can pop off and make a name for themselves here in the rival league.
I do actually remember watching Lil Roberto play during the rival combines on stream. And well, he didn't really have a standout performance. He did have, I would say, a consistent performance. I think in the game that he played, it's always hard to get a sample size so small.
Mhm.
But he didn't seem to make too many mistakes and mostly seemed to have a safe playstyle. And I think that someone like that is easy to build a team around. So assuming, he did go to Blaze, correct? So with Paper on that roster, I mean, you already have Paper there. You have all the offense you pretty much need. Definitely, I think a smart move to pick up someone like that who can be more of a rock for your roster.
Yeah, for sure. And is that where you saw him, Matt? Did you see him in the combine?
He actually came out to my tryout, and I really liked what I saw. Kind of like you said. He's not like an amazing player that you would see him go in like top 3 or something like that. Nothing against him, but he's very consistent, and that's something that I personally look at, because I'd rather have consistency than someone who's gonna hit like an amazing clip or score like 5 goals in a game. But when you have someone who's consistent, they'll do that consistently, obviously. But then you have someone who's like a pop off man who only does that every couple of games. So it's just situations like that.
And Sad Sky getting sent over to Mafiosos, and Shun going over to Galaxy. Those are some players that I've definitely heard of before. Solid pickups there for Mafiosos and Galaxy, as Kings on the clock, about to get their pick in, hopefully. But I'll talk about Shun for a second. Shun, a pickup that I know of as just solid overall. Played against him last season, I'm pretty sure, and he was a force to be reckoned with on the field. And Pelosa, coming up from, I think, Challenger League, where he was on part of the Wildcats, or former 1800, who is now down here in the rival league. So if he can return to his former glory, he will also be a force to be reckoned with.
No, I know Pelosa's really cracked player. I know he took a bit of a lull, but whenever he was peaking, he was peaking. The man was going off for down in the Challenger League, and I mean, if he continues to play the way he was playing in Challenger, he's gonna do all right in Rival.
Mhm. Absolutely. As Gravelord's taking Trippy T, just another, he plays Smite, so he's obviously pretty cool. But other than that, I don't know anything about Trippy T. Hopefully, uh, hopefully Gravelords know what they're doing there, as Casper and Trippy T now teammates. Um, Probably someone that they did tryouts with, because to take him this early in the draft, you got to know he's good.
Yeah, I actually don't recognize that name, but like you said, The race do already have, let's see, they've got Casper on there, and now actually coming at their second pick. You gotta think that there is a little bit of a method behind this. And luckily, with the combines and all these tryouts, you do get to witness a much more spectacle from the players. Already with the Casper on that team, it looks a little bit scary. Now, if they can just get solid third, assuming Trippy is a standout player, they're looking to be in good position.
Yep, and Vortex coming in with back-to-back picks, taking Vorse. He streams on Twitch. He has a TikTok. And let's see, Vortex with Cram on the roster already, a solid pickup, and now bringing in Vorse and getting to pick a third already is gonna be scary, especially when you have back-to-back picks. You know exactly who you want, and you can make very solid decisions. Don't have to worry about getting sniped. So they've got the pick of the litter here with, let's see, I can't find Force on here. Nope, I don't see Force. I don't know what MR Force is. I can't find it off the top of my head, but what about y'all? Do y'all know these guys?
I actually do not recognize. I'm looking on their draft board, but I don't recognize him either as Vorse here.
Yeah, so Vorse, I found him 1654, a high pickup on what's available, so can't really go wrong with that. But I'm excited about these new names in Rival League. Like, it's a good thing that I don't know who a lot of these people are, because it means the league is growing. We're getting a lot of new people involved in the league play, and uh, it's just going to help the league grow and continue to grow. As someone that's not new, Finesse gets taken by Vortex. A great way to round out that roster. I've played against him, a very mechanical player in his own right. And depending on how Vorse and Cram do, that could also be a contending team.
Most definitely. Wait, what was that?
And
Oh, best win percentage in Nemesis we're hearing right now. Just went off the board with Jaden, not Finesse. Apologies for misleading. That's a big pickup for Distortion. I think Vortex as well, already having Cram on the roster, now with a full roster. Always the ideal situation you want to end up with. I think seems like most people so far in this rival league have gotten the players that they're looking for, save for you missing out on Kaysen. But once again, there's so much depth to the players that it seems like everyone almost has a different strategy, so they're not overlapping too much.
yeah, and whenever you pick up the player that has the best win percentage in all of the league, it's never going to be a bad pickup, as he is hoping to keep that true and hopefully having a good win percentage this season. As I'm pretty sure his win percentage is over 75%, which is just
That's
nuts.
it's actually insane. Like winning 75% of your games. Hopefully he can keep it going. Was he in Rival League last season? He
Yep.
was non-playing last season. Okay. Hopefully he can return to form this season. I mean, that's why he was drafted, right?
Yeah, so Sense did the scouting report. They knew who to pick up. Sense and Jaden looking good, and Lightspeed is taking Case, who a very solid pickup. Season 4 MVP, Season 3 runner up, 5, 4, 3, and 2 All Star. So a very highly accoladed player. For some reason, he has the non playing role. Hopefully, that's not the case with him, as Case has been around the league for quite a while, and y'all probably know a little more about him than I do.
Yeah, actually, Case was in the Challenger League with me for a couple seasons. I think we moved up to Rival at the same time, actually. I've never played with him on a team, but I've played with him in plenty of All-Star games. They were always a good time. He's a great mechanical player, very offensively coordinated. And with the right teammates, I think he could definitely pop off. I don't see him as active around the chats as I used to. Obviously, he was non-playing. I think he is playing now, hopefully, 'cause he did get drafted.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely, I think with the right teammates, it can have a lot of potential to have pop off material.
Hmm. And Vortex, with another pick, gets to round off their roster, and they do it with young Ned, another guy that's been around the league for a little bit. I recognize his name. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on this Vortex roster as they have filled up their fourth and final spot?
Well, them taking Ned there, he was part of the general plan that I had that I was trying to go for. And it's obviously not going to work out now. He is a great pick. He's very consistent. You know, he's one of those pop off guys, but at the same time, he has a lot of consistency. So he's probably one of the better players in Rival. And looking at the other players on Vortex, Cram, a very well known player. Cram, I met the guy a couple seasons ago, and I just really liked his play style and all that. So he's a scary person in Rival. And looking at the other players on Vortex, if Vorce and Finesse are both pretty decent, I don't know a lot about them, but if they're decent players, Vortex is going to be a very scary team.
Yeah, and Vortex did use up every single bit of their cap room, so shout out to them, maximizing the potential on their roster. Knights select Squinty, um, a player that I was definitely looking at beforehand, but then my plans changed with Crip and Valence, and I couldn't fit him on the roster anymore. But Squinty, uh, a solid pickup. Doodle told me to pick him up, so if Doodle's telling me to pick him up, then he's got to be a solid player all around.
Yeah, no, personally, I don't know too much about Squinty, but I mean, if he was sniped under your hands, Squirrel, he must be a good player.
Yeah, definitely gonna be missing him as I've got to figure out who I'm taking with these with my last two picks, but we got time for that. Gravelords now on the clock, 13 or 3280 MMR left. Got to have enough to at least have 1585 remaining, and they've got a big draft board to choose from. So, who do y'all think that Gravelords are going to select? As I think the pick actually might be coming in.
I think I have a pretty good guess. Definitely didn't already see who they picked, but I'm feeling like they're going to go with Zach.
That's exactly who they went with. Zach V, another player that I have no clue about. So, another player looking to make their name in the rival league. We'll see how that goes. As Jarhead definitely knows how to put some good teams together, and he's definitely making the best decisions that he could here in the rival league.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic pickup there. Zach V coming through. I really like his about me, by the way. It just says LOL. I don't know if he's laughing at life or himself or someone else, perhaps. But seems like a chill guy. Definitely going to have some potential there. And now with the Grave Lords, Trippy T, Casp, and Zach coming through, definitely looks like a bit of a dangerous roster, and all very similar MMRs as well. Most of Rival does sit around mid 1600s, so not surprising to see. But their sub will also be around the same range, so I'm not sure if they already had a pre-coordinated team or if this is a little bit of improvisation. But either way, they definitely have a lot of places that they can take this.
Hmm. Absolutely, and with 1637 left, that gives them, let's see, Taz down, so just under Ray Ray, and plenty of players to pick from. So the board is open to them. As Whiteout gonna pick their third here soon with Larry and Reiki. I feel bad for Dan, kind of ruined his plans by trading to get the first overall pick, grabbing Valence, trading for Krippus. So he's calling some audibles right now. Larry and Reiki, solid teammates already, and with 3267 left, they can get a whole lot of players, basically any 1600 to 60. So lots of people available, and there's a few people on this draft board that I'm still surprised are on there. Zap, Flame Intruder, Ray Ray, Huey, just a few names that I'm surprised are still there.
I'm also surprised. I see Koala Bear, Pred. I believe they were both Challenger League players for the Drakes. Both very cracked players. I see Hayos left, formerly known as Sushi. Uh, it, I always forget. Is it either Ray Ray or Hayos who always guarantees at least a semifinal appearance?
That is definitely Ray Ray.
The 700-pound man.
The 700-pound where your mom's at, man. As Whiteout taking Craig, I think this is Craig's return to Rival League. Took a brief stint in Challenger, if I'm not mistaken. A great player. And Distortion taking Zap, one of those players I mentioned before. Zap has been around forever. I remember seeing him back in season 2 or 3, I think it was, and a solid pickup. I know he had to go non-playing for a little bit last season, so good to see him back. And Distortion, a solid pickup there, as that is going to leave them with one player left to play, 1648 remaining. So still a lot of great options for a sub there for Distortion.
Yeah, and I want to say Zap was on the Gravelords when they made a pretty deep run in season 4 or 5.
Hmm.
Escaping my memory right now. But that was an excellent team, and Zap is a really good player, very fast, very mechanical. And Craig as well, like you said, he's returning to Rival. I did think it was a little bit strange to see him drop down to Challenger in the first place, because I always considered him to be an excellent player. I think he just didn't play the game as much. But I think that's a great pick from Whiteout, rounding out their roster, and Distortion as well. Two very solid players. And now Kings picking up the 700-pound man we were just talking about.
Yeah, Bubbly did not get the memo that Ray Ray was supposed to be undrafted, but they pick him up. Hopefully, he can stay on that roster, as I'm pretty sure he holds the rival league record for most teams in a season. So hopefully, he has found a home, a forever home for the Ray Ray and Chimeras. Taken Pred. Jaegers, I think you mentioned Pred earlier. Definitely a solid pickup there.
Absolutely. No, I was talking about him. He's very cracked. Performed really well on the I believe it was the Drakes. I get him and Saucy mixed up, and I believe Saucy used to be on the Drakes and he switched over to the Tigers mid-season on that cracked roster. So I'm really excited to see how Pred does in a rival league this season.
Yeah, and Distortion taking Andrew, formerly a Fruit Ninja Season 2 champion, I think with Andrew and Smiley, a crack team back in Season 2 for my org, and it has rebranded since then, but a solid pickup there by Distortion. Chimera's about to be on the clock, looking to fill out their roster, can take pretty much Flame Intruder down, and they're going to pick Sorano, and it's my turn, and I forgot who I was picking.
Well,
Let's see here.
I mean,
Well,
Serrano, a good player to round out the roster with. All these players are like kind of near each other. I'm not sure if they're near each other in skill level, but at least MMR wise, they are pretty similar. So I'm really curious to see who they're going to be figuring out as the sub for this Chimeras roster. I'm really excited to see what Rogue does with this team.
Yeah, and I think it's Mitch that's drafting for him because Rogue is on a road trip right now, and Pineapple's pick comes in. Nubs, a player that I ran into in ranked. My name was want to join a threes league, and he took me up on the offer and joined, and I was like, you're pretty good. I'll draft you. Um, so hopefully me going non-playing doesn't change his mind, as I guaranteed him he had two good teammates. So Nubs, welcome to the roster. Welcome to your debut in Rival League, and let's hope you can can shine.
I also just really like the name Nubs. It has a certain appeal to it. Makes me feel like
Great.
he's like, I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
we got another Cinco fan club member, Seuss, being drafted to Galaxy. So OA, Shun, and Seuss always going to be a fun team when you've got OA on it. Shun, a solid player. Zeus, rounding up that third man spot, could be a very scary team in your division. Or I guess not your division, but your org's division, merely, and Jaegers.
Yeah, actually, Seuss was one of the players that we got the chance to witness in the combines on stream, and he kind of popped off. I think he scored at least a few goals in that game. It was kind of a battle between one player on each team. Obviously, the combines are hard to get down, but he definitely showed a lot of potential. And I think now that he is going over here to Galaxy, where are they? There they are. With OA on there, another outstanding player, and Shun as well. Adding Seuss to that roster, I also didn't realize how low of MMR he was because he didn't. He looked much higher than he looked like at least a mid 1600 in the combines. So I'm excited to see him play and see how that team does.
And they are teaming with OA, the finals MVP from last season. So do you know anything about that team, Matt?
So far, we're talking Galaxy, right?
Yes, sir.
So far, I mean, Galaxy, I was looking at their roster and they're shaping out to look pretty good. I saw OA, like you said, the finals MVP. Last season, he looked like he was obviously one of the best players. And, he shaped out to look, or he shaped out to kind of perform, at least in the finals, to prove himself to be that. Soon, I really don't know a lot about him, but Seuss, I did see him in those combines like you were talking about, and he looked very solid. He was on my draft board, and I was looking to get him with my next pick, but, Galaxy was able to steal a pretty good pick here, and like I said, they're looking to be a very scary team.
And Kings drafting Tals, another new name here in the rival league. Bubbly, like I said, Bubbly always has some of these like under the radar picks in his pocket, and Tal's a solid one there. He hopefully he can play well with Ray Ray, as I know sometimes that can be a little rough. But a rival now on the clock, and Rockerman, can you give us some insight before you pick it on who you're gonna take in this last spot?
Yeah, I've got some great insight here. It is called I am messaging desperately all of my 3 rostered members to try to figure out who they want their fourth to be. So that is a strategy. But I do see that we have 1660 MMR. So if they do not get back to me in the next minute and 50 seconds, I have some people in mind that I recognize that I might have to snatch up from here. So we'll see. We'll see.
Bring Kiwi back. Let's get Kiwi back in here.
Yeah,
I miss
should
that guy.
Well,
I-
with 1648 or Flaming Shooter down below, the board's pretty open for you.
True.
I mean, that's a big board. There's a lot of players under. I do know Lush is a very cracked player, one of the best top prospects last season. Um, there's a lot of names I don't really recognize. I will say that. So I mean, at the end of the day, Austin, you're the GM. Me and Mealy are just players who wants to see our team succeed. Uh, and so really, uh, I mean, if the team does well, it's on you. If it does bad, it's also on you.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I need to see a rival do worse than I did when I was on the team for my own self confidence.
Hey, all I'm saying is you left a rival, went to the grand finals. So,
You know what?
um,
That's fair. First
it's
grand finals appearance.
yeah. So it's not you; it was them. All right, you made it to the grand finals.
Let's go. I can blame everyone else now. Heck yeah.
Yeah. And we went up against a team that had two people that went to Titan, and OA, who in a normal rival season would have went to Titan, being at 17-15, and we were the team that had the player going to Challenger. So the odds were stacked against us, and the underdog did not win in that situation. But it was a
Unfortunately.
yeah, it was a good season. Now, as a rival, the pick is coming in. A rival taking Loosh, a trial moderator, um, member of the Power Rankings team, and a subscriber on Twitch. So shout out to Loosh for supporting Nemesis and giving his time as staff. And are y'all excited for that pickup to have Loosh in your org?
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool dude. I don't really talk to him too much, but I also hear he's very nice. So I mean, he made the climb to rival, so he's a rival caliber player, and it'd be a great addition to this Arrival roster.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I'll cut in here. You can agree, Amelia. I'll allow you to agree after I cut in. I gotta say something
Well,
about.
after you say something, I'm definitely gonna disagree. But go ahead.
Okay, well, you know what? All right, fair enough, I guess. But no, I love Lush. As Fro mentioned, he's done a lot of work in not only helping the staff teams, but man's pretty cracked on the pitch. So for him to be here at this spot, I think that's really good. And I think he has a lot of potential to bring to Arrival, and I would like to see active people, as always, and Lush, great guy as well. So if you disagree with that, merely good luck. Good luck disagreeing with some dude being a great guy. We'll see where that gets you.
So, okay, well, it's Rockerman, so I have to disagree. I don't think Lush is a great guy. I think he's a fantastic guy. And I
Yeah,
don't think
big
he's gonna
big
do
difference
good
there.
on Arrival. I think he's gonna do amazing on Arrival and bring the
Yep,
best. There we go. Disagreed. Easy.
absolutely.
Beat that, Austin. Uh,
I just Lush better be cracked in order to keep up with Foam, Chipmunk, and Edwin, because that is a speedy team. And just if he's one step behind, it's gonna be tough because they're fast and they're gonna put leave a lot of people in the dust. So we'll see how that works out as Gravelords now on the clock, to looking to fill out their last spot on the roster as we are struggling to find the man. But you know, Lucius is a good example of how just being active and like being friendly, talking to people, making yourself known is a great way to get picked up on a team. Because I didn't know Lush until he became staff, and he's a good guy all around. Um, as it looks like the player that um, Drax is trying to draft left the server, but he might be trying to draft him anyways. Um, hopefully we can figure that out soon because uh, his name very creative as they're trying to get uh, Gnuff, and I don't know if that's supposed to be a silent G or not. If you and yeah, he's back. Welcome back.
Let's go.
He's back in the server. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's back, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to put Knights on the clock.
a interesting turn of events. I don't think I've ever seen a player leave, get drafted, and then come back immediately. Usually, it's very interesting to me.
Well, usually they wait until they see they don't get drafted before they leave. So this man was just like pieced out and then heard, oh wait, I have a team. So then he came back. So hopefully his team lives up to his expectations, as he's got Trippy T, Casper, Zach V, and G Nuff. As Knight taking Sosa, Rival League Sosa. This is not Marty Sosa.
Oh,
Uh, Played this man in ranked a few times. Definitely a good player, and a good pickup for Vulcan and Squintle.
yeah, I was gonna say, wow, Marty is Sosa really, really grinding. I didn't even think that was possible. But Sosa here, I don't actually know in that case who this is, but you say you played against him in ranked. Looks like pretty decently high MMR pickup there. Just double checking
Mhm.
exactly what that is. And that could definitely end up being a solid roster with him now. Okay, sorry, I'm a boomer.
Well, that makes me feel bad because I'm older than you, merely. But I will say this: that's looking like a very cracked roster from the looks at it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are they still looking for a sub? They are still looking for a sub, and they have 1642 to play with. So we're gonna have to see which direction they go with here.
And hopefully it's not the same direction that I want to go with because I know who I want to pick for this last spot. And I think most teams, a lot of teams are full right now. Some teams looking to fill their fourth spot, but then you got Blaze. Matt, you are looking to fill two spots, good sir. Are you a little worried?
No, I'm really not worried. I'm really confident in the new plan that we have restructured.
Okay.
If I get my fourth round pick, who I want it to be, I have a nice little story to tell.
Well, hopefully that comes true, as you do have the very last pick in the rival league draft at 59. All the other picks are taken, so you'll get to have the last words, as Hydra cannot select anyone. Blaze is now on the clock. Yep, Blaze has 1585 remaining, or not Blaze. Sorry, Hydra has 1585 remaining. Doing the strategy where you leave enough room for a tier min, but not an actual player. Hopefully those people are very available, because if another team decides to be difficult scheduling, that could put them in a bad spot, because they only have 3 players on the roster. But 3 very good players, if I do say so myself. Blaze taking Crafty Dominus. His name sounds like an in-game tournament auto-generated team name. So, what's your thought process behind that one, Matt? Matt?
Oh,
Matthias?
my bad. I got called into the living room. Can you repeat that real quick? I'm sorry.
What's your thought process here between drafting Crafty Dominus?
Oh, so Lil Robetu, I'm really not 100% sure how to say his name, which sounds terrible since he is my player, but he said he has a lot of chemistry with Crafty Dominus, and I saw them through my tryout, and in the VCs, they really sounded like they were friends and all that, which obviously they are somewhat. And I just really liked the chemistry they had with each other and their play styles together. So I think combining that with Paper so far, I think that's going to be a pretty solid 3-man roster. But if we're able to get the fourth that I want, I'm not sure who's going to be the starters at that point, because we should have a pretty good team, in my opinion.
I want to cut in here because I do actually, behind the scenes here, have some inside information about Little Roberto and Crafty Damas. I did run into them in ranked, so the odds are is that they're friends. I did get farmed, so it was not a good day for me. But that's why I'm in Challenge League now. So yeah, but they look like they look like they got some good chemistry. So I rate that pick an A plus maybe even. So good job.
Yeah, and sometimes people pick based on the names. So a very solid name pick up there, Crafty Dominus. And then Prisma going to the Knights. Don't have a whole lot about Prisma that I know of, but um, Bubbly, probably more in tune with the community than I am at the moment. So shout out to Prisma. Congrats on being selected. And Whiteout snipes me taking Kiwi. I can't really blame them, though. It puts them at 0 MMR remaining, and I was 1 pick away from getting him. And now I've got to figure out who I want, because that's not an option anymore.
Well, you have plenty of players to choose from, Squirrel, just looking at the board. I mean, you got Saucy Rio, who last season he changed his name, and I'm not sure if he changed it back because I voiced my displeasure with the name change, but I just really like the name Rio. And no, it's just a really cool name. And just looking at this board, there's so many good players here. Blueberry actually showed up to a Challenger League tryout. It's very cracked. I'm not sure how he'll do in the rival league, but he did farm some Challenger League players. So there's that.
I like the insight, but
Hey,
if
also,
I
if you, I will say this: if you pick Saucy, you get to say sauced up some kids. You can cast your own player, Squirrel. So there's that.
I think I'll go with picking on a good name. So I know he has a number in his name, so it takes away from it a little bit. But Oi Boy sounds really fun to say.
Oi,
Um,
boy.
yeah, exactly. I can't wait for that name to be shouted on stream. Uh, as Galaxy gonna listen to your advice and take Blueberry right after that one, Jaegers.
Oh yeah, I haven't really seen him play against rival, but I mean against Challenger League players, he definitely definitely made a name for himself. So that's all I have to say about that.
I
That was
feel
a
like,
very fast pickup, so they knew exactly who they were getting.
Oh
yeah, I feel like if you go into a Challenger League tryout and
you
you don't
should.
farm as a rival, you might not want to play. But you know,
No?
it's some of these challengers are actually very good. Like it goes all the way up to 18 or 1584. So you get some like GC1, GC low GC2s in there. Uh, as Oi Boy can't be found, as
Uh-oh.
that is so unfortunate.
Try and get him back into the server, Squirrel. We've
I
seen
don't,
it happen before.
I don't think I have enough time for that. Um, can I
Well,
like put these names in a wheel generator?
well, it looks like Squirrel's going to the back of the draft. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, buddy.
Hey, I picked. All right, hold on. I'm putting these names in a wheel generator real quick.
That's Squirrel. That's a lot of names. We still have Titan left,
Oh,
buddy.
it's spinning. It's spinning. All
Oh
right.
man,
I am taking not a duck. Not a duck. All right.
not a duck. If
Yep.
that's a great name too. I like that name.
I wonder what he is.
Probably a chicken.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe a turkey.
So, congratulations, not a duck. Your name was selected by the Wheel of Destiny. Do I know anything about him? Absolutely not. But I didn't want to be mean and snipe some of these other people who put their picks in. Um, but some names I was thinking about sniping Galaxy. I was thinking about sniping Kings, but I decided to play the friendly card and just go with whatever the wheel spit out. So that definitely a unique way to pick somebody.
I'm gonna cut it
Say
in
the
to say
least.
this is why you gotta wait until the pick is confirmed, GMs.
Yep.
A little bit of
So
RNG in your Rock League. You love to see it.
yeah, that was the same wheel of names that we used for the unbanned wheel. It was the same wheel of names that we used for the draft lottery. So Galaxy taking Blueberry, was tempted to snipe him, but I decided to be friendly, I guess. And so, like, when you say he farmed Challenger Kids Jaegers, like, are we talking about just like led the scoring, or was like clearly more dominant than everyone else?
We had to tell him to stop. That's how bad it was. We're like, wait a second, this guy's rival. What are you doing? So look, all I'm saying is he's a cracked player, and I mean, from my humble opinion, you missed out. But I will say this: not a duck, probably gonna prove me wrong. So you never know.
I hope so, as you know, it never feels great leaving 22 MMR left on the board, trying to maximize that, but it is what it is. Kings on the clock, looking for their last player. I think I know who it's going to be because I saw them put it in the thing, but it got deleted. So,
Bubbly had asked me who he should pick, and someone else said Sero, and I mean I have heard the name Sero. I don't know too much about him other than the fact that I have heard he's cracked. So I'm looking for big things from him. So
yep, Sayro, a solid pickup. I've played against him before. Um, Definitely a good pickup, and that's going to leave just, I think, Blaze left to pick. So, do we get to hear this funny story, Matt?
It depends if Bubbly still goes with his original pick.
Well,
Yeah, we gotta wait on that.
I wait. I thought he had Sayro.
There we. Oh, different pick.
oh, that's Oh, I did hear a little bird in my ear said that Cyro is going non-playing. He was a Galaxy subbed on a cracked Season 6 winning championship roster, but decided to forego the season this season. So it looks like Bubbly has wisened up. Instead of picking two players that are going non-playing in Pelosa and Cyro, it looks like he's getting some solid people on his roster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a fancy story here.
Yes.
We are going to go ahead and select Koala Bear.
Okay.
Earlier today, well, not earlier, but before I picked up my second player, Koala Bear DMs me and says, "You should pick me because I'm cool." And you know what? Why not? He's cool, right? So I tell him, "I got you as long as it works out." And there we go. Now we have a friendship, I guess.
Yep. So sometimes reaching out to GMs is a great way to get picked. I know sometimes Rockerman selects people based on just who's willing to play for him and who reaches out. Koala Bear getting picked up because he reached out to a GM. I know Jtron in one of the previous leagues was reaching out to people. So shout out to those of you willing to step up and reach out to these people. It definitely pays off, as that is going to conclude our rival league